You're listening to an AppleVis podcast.
Hey, AppleVisers, Tyler here, with a quick tip for how to manage login items on macOS. Login items, as the name suggests, are items like apps or files that open automatically when logging into your Mac. This may be useful if you, for example, have apps that you use constantly or always want open, so even if you restarted your Mac, those apps would be open and ready for you to use. While this feature may be convenient, the more items you have configured to open automatically might slow the boot process or login process. In addition, some apps insert themselves as login items or background items, which I'll explain later. And depending on your preference and use case, you may not want certain apps opening every time you log in. So in this tutorial, I'll demonstrate how to manage this. To do that, you'd go into System Settings, General, Login Items, and Extensions. I'll demonstrate that now on my Mac.
Menu bar App System Settings ellipsis. Dropbox alias. System. Window. Sidebar table. Row 10 of 37. General. Selected.
Okay. VO globe right for the scroll area.
Scroll area.
Interact.
In scroll area. 16 items general.
And since this is located near the bottom, I'll VO globe right.
Transfer or reset button.
VO left.
Device time machine. Startup disk. Sharing button. Login items and extensions button.
Login items and extensions. Okay.
Login items and extensions.
Here we are. VO globe right to the scroll area.
Login items and extensions. Scroll area.
Interact.
In login items and extensions. Scroll area. 60 items. Heading open at login. These items will open automatically when you log in. Table.
So if I VO right to the table, and then arrow through.
Dropbox. Application.
We have one item, Dropbox, because that is the one thing I have configured to open automatically. If I VO right,
Add button.
you can add an item, and I'm going to hit that now.
In dialog, list view, table.
And here we are in a standard macOS open dialog. And to make sure it's pointing to the applications folder, because I'm adding an app, I'll VO left.
Search applications, where? Pop-up button.
Okay, applications. If it's pointing somewhere else for you and you want to add an app in the applications folder, just press Command-Shift-A. But I'm going to go back to the table.
Search list view, table.
And I want to add Slack. So I'll just press the letters S and L.
Slack application.
Press return.
Add button.
And now, if I VO left,
Table.
we have
Dropbox application. Slack application.
Dropbox and Slack. VO right,
Add button. Remove button. Heading out background activity.
app background activity. If I VO right again, there's a brief explanation.
Apps run in the background after you close them to perform tasks such as checking for updates. Personal data and device sensors can be accessed by apps while they run in the background if you grant permission.
Yep, so some apps handle updates and other such tasks using background items. If you install an app or open one for the first time, you might get a notification that says something like background items added. This is where you'd manage that. So if I VO right.
Dropbox incorporated. Dropbox incorporated on switch.
Okay, Dropbox, that's on for me. Just press VO space to turn it off. However, keep in mind that if you disable background items for an app, it may not work as expected. So for example, if background processes check for updates and those are disabled, the app might not update itself. If you're right.
One item.
One item, that's just saying that Dropbox has one child process. If you're right.
Passwords. Passwords on switch. One item. Podcasts. Podcasts on switch. One item. Weather. Weather off switch. One item. Zoom.us. Zoom.us on switch. 3 items. One item affects all users.
Okay. When it says one item affects all users, that means even if Zoom wasn't configured as a login item, the background process would still start if another user logged in to this Mac. VO right.
Heading extensions.
Extensions. And extensions go a little beyond the scope of this tutorial. It's basically a way for apps to integrate with system functions. So that's pretty much the extent of login item settings. So I'm going to close out.
Finder. Desktop.
Here we are back on the desktop. Now, say I wanted to add another item. I could, of course, go back into login item settings and add it. Or there's another trick for items in the dock. So say I wanted to add Zoom. I'd find it in the dock, press VO-Shift-M for the context menu, and choose Open at Login from the Options submenu. I'll demonstrate that now.
Dock.
Press Z for Zoom.
Zoom.us.
VO-Shift-M.
Options, submenu.
Options.
Options, submenu removed from dock. Open at login.
Open at login.
Finder, yes.
And now I've selected that, so Slack and Zoom are now configured to open automatically when I restart or log into my Mac. To demonstrate that, I'm going to restart now.
Menu bar app lock shutdown, restart ellipsis. Drop reopen windows when logging in, checked.
Voice enter pass.
Welcome to macOS. VoiceOver is on. Installer progress is not responding. Slack.
Connecting.
Zoom.u.
Okay, so we heard some activity there. If I command tab.
Finder. Zoom.us. Slack. Finder.
Okay.
Please check your network and try again.
Okay, that's Zoom talking. But I want to quit Zoom, so I'll go to,
Slack.
well, I want to
Slack.
quit that too.
Close window. Quit Slack. Finder. Zoom.us. Login. Finder. Desktop. Dropbox. Alias.
And here we are,
Options available.
back on the desktop. So because those were configured as login items, they opened automatically. Now, if I want to remove login items, I could go into System Settings, Login Items and Extensions, and remove them from the table, or I could simply select them in the dock and choose and uncheck Open at Login from the Options submenu in the context menu. So I'll press VOD,
Dock.
and then Z for Zoom,
Zoom.u.
via Shift M.
Menu. Options. Submenu. Options. Submenu removed from dock. Open at login.
And for some reason, VoiceOver isn't reporting the state of the setting, but I'll hit the Escape key.
Finder.
Try again.
Dock. Zoom.
Via Shift M.
Options. Submenu. Options. Submenu. Checkmark. Open at login.
Okay, so Open at Login is checked. If I want to uncheck that, just press Return.
Finder.
And I don't want Slack to open automatically either, so I'll find that in the dock.
Dock. Slack.
Via Shift M.
Options. Submenu.
Options.
Options. Checkmark. Open at login. Finder.
And to verify that these are no longer configured as login items, I'll go into System Settings.
Menu. System settings. Ellipsis. Dropbox. Alias. Window. Sidebar. Table.
Click right.
Scroll area. In scroll area. 16 items general. Transfer. Device. Time machine. Startup. Sharing. Login items and extensions. Button. Login items and extensions. Window. Toolbar. Login items and these items will open automatically when you log in. Table. Dropbox. Application.
Okay, so now the only item in the table is Dropbox. If you want to remove background items, so for example, after uninstalling an app, sometimes you could be looking through your list of background items and find that even if an app is toggled off, it may still appear in this list. That is because apps leave behind little files like referred to as agents and daemons, assuming I'm pronouncing those words correctly. They are in your library folders, and the location of these agents and daemons dictate their functions. So in your user library folder, which I'll demonstrate I'll close out of this, go into Finder.
Finder.
And I'm just going to go to folder with Command-Shift-G.
Go to folder. Path/lab.
And go tilde, which is Shift accent.
Path. Path. B-R-A-R-Y. Library.
L.
Language. Launch agents folder.
Launch agents. So launch agents in your user library folder refer to background items that open automatically when you log into your Mac with your user account. Now, there are other launch agents folders. So, for example, in the system or the library folder at the root of the startup disk,
Drop.
which I'll demonstrate.
Go to folder. Library.
So I'm just going to hit /library because it's the root.
Path. F-I-B-R-A-R-Y. Library. Launch agents folder.
We have launch agents. Now, launch agents here will open regardless of what user account logs in. So it's system rather than user specific. We go down.
Launch Daemons folder.
Launch Daemons. Those open even before login. So even before an account is logged into, a daemon will run. Which, whether things open before or after a login technically occurs, may be entirely transparent to the user, especially if File Vault is on or the things are encrypted, so you have to enter a password to unlock the disk anyway. But either way, if you didn't want to see things like that in your list of background items, those would be places to look. In the two launch agents folders, one in your user library folder, one at the library folder at the root of your startup disk, as well as the launch daemons folder at the root of your startup disk. There are launch agents and launch daemons folders in the library folder in your system folder, but I don't believe third-party apps can interact with those, and I don't think users can interact with those either by default, unless you turn SIP, your system integrity protection, off, which I don't recommend unless you have a very specific reason to do so. But either way, that's a quick tip for how to manage login items on macOS. It can be helpful because, as I said earlier, some apps will insert themselves as login items or push you to have them open automatically, so they're always in front of you, whether you like them or not. And also some users might find the somewhat cryptic background items added notifications annoying. So this is how you'd manage it. I hope you found it helpful. Peace.
This podcast was brought to you by the community at applevis.com. Applevis, empowering people who are blind, deafblind, or who have low vision to get the most from Apple products and related technologies. A proud member of the Be My Eyes family. For more information, visit our website at www.applevis.com.